Happy New Year. It is 2023, the first month of 2023, and we are back, Amped Up Wrestling. We got another show coming in March, Mania week, and we will see you soon. But before that, we're going to have some new content. Actually, going to film some more matches and things like that. So just stay tuned. But as you know, the Amped Up podcast is not just about pro wrestling. I'm from the community. Everybody else is from their respective communities. And the goal is bigger than wrestling. We want to not only touch you guys with the essence of show, all the fun stuff that comes with it, but we do care about our community. We do care about the people. We do care about loving on everybody and making the world a better place. It's a harsh world we living in, but we just trying to make it. So, without further ado, we're going to touch on a topic that I feel like we need. It's going to be a new series. We're going to do several parts to this. We're going to have several guests. And I invited some friends of mine today, and they offered to volunteer. We're going to talk about men's mental health. Now, some of you guys are like, what's going on here? Where's the wrestling matches? Well, we're going to get back to it. However, what inspired me to do this was the death of Twitch, the dancer, Ellen Show, and who was also African American. And what I've been reading the statistics is a lot of African American suicides are been up these last few years. And so what we're going to do today is I want to break those generational curses about try our best to how men are supposed to be tough, strong, and we can go through anything. And, we all of us have already heard, like, you're a man, just suck it up, this and that. And not everybody's the same, There's brothers that need a place to talk it out. There's brothers that need a place to cry. I honestly push therapy and psychiatry, and just groups like this. So without further ado, I'm going to go down the table, and then I'm going to ask a few questions, and we're going to have a little talk. We don't want to keep y'all too long, about 30 minutes or so. And we're going to start out with my man right here. Introduce yourself.
My name is Jamal. Pleased to meet everybody. Peace.
All right.
I'm Mike Martinez, a.k.a. Triple M.
All right, for sure. I'm James. I'm just James.
James.
James, still dancing or what?
Yeah, still dancing. Doing music. PE teacher now. I just got hired at Red Lobster, so man, I do a lot, bro.
You like me, 2-3 jobs, yeah.
Man.
Whole lot since the days when I had hair and young. And
Oh yeah, you bald now. Huh?
Oh,
By choice.
my hairline is doing a Roger Rabbit, bro.
This ain't double dutching like mine, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. First up, so I'm gonna go down, let everybody go down, give you a chance to talk. For Twitch, and my condolences to his friends and family, and all the brothers sisters who taken themselves out early. It's one of those situations to where, we all were like, dang, he had it all, the wife, the kids, the fame. Same with so many people, what do situations like that make you personally feel like?
That's a deep question. In all honesty, it makes me kind of have flashbacks of the time that I tried to commit suicide, throughout life, which has been multiple times. To mirror or to piggyback what you said, I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 78. My parents are baby boomers, and my grandfather was born in 1890, so I come from, the era of Generation Xers where it was go outside, don't come back home, whatever you do out there is whatever you do out there. Don't come back crying, don't come back, whatever. So, I grew up in that era of the 80s where it was, like you said, shut your mouth. You know, you're a man, toughen up. Cry for what? I got something for you to cry for. You know, so for when Twitch passed, like I said, the first place I went to was my battles. Like I said, when I tried to commit suicide, and then on top of that, the people that I know that committed suicide. Some people say that it's a selfish thing, you know, but to be battling something so hard where you go beyond just doing regular physical, you know, harm or damage to where you have to end your existence, man, that's a deep thing. Like you said, a lot of the people that I know committed suicide really didn't have much. Not to the point where like Robin Williams, Twitch, these people where, you know, we figured they had it all. Man, they was about to give Twitch the Ellen show. You know what I mean? That was about to be his show. It basically been his show for a while now since the little controversy thing. So, I mean, it's really tough, you know. And I'm not saying it's tough being a man. It's just tough having to deal with something like that to where you want to end your own self. Because I've been, I tried it. I tried it one time, and man, I was an armorer. On top of being an NBC NCO, I was an armorer, so I know something about guns. One day I'm, you know, battling with my coke addiction, and I'm putting a bunch of coke up in my nose so that I can try to kill myself. And then when I finally get to the point where my body was numb enough for me to actually pull the trigger, the gun wouldn't go off. Took that shit outside, loaded it up, rang off. Brought it back in the house, tried it again, nothing. Took it back outside, rang off again. Bang, 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 bang. Now I got people outside, you know, the police, you know, the neighborhood hot. I go back in time, same again, you know, click, nothing. Man, I put the gun away, went to sleep, flush all my coke down the toilet. Okay. So I can relate, you know, get tough, you know, and for anybody, man, woman, baby, child, you know, there's an expression that I heard, if it was easy, it would be called a way. Nobody really teach us how to do life anymore, you know what I mean? And then with technology advancing and the things and the distractions and, you know, what they put in food and, you know what I mean? It's tough. And I like groups like this because you can get back to the basics, you know? So I appreciate even being able to be a part of this.
Nice, bro. Thank you for that.
I mean, when anybody takes their lives or is battling those demons, it's a travesty. And, you know, we all lost people. I mean, I lost my cousin Michelle a couple years ago with her battles to bipolar depression. And it struck the family very hard. And it kind of shook me up in a way of making me realize what's going on. And, you know, she left behind, you know, 4 kids. So 2 of them are still little, you know, and God bless the family because, you know, we've all rallied around those kids. That said, you know, I grew up in a Latino family, an immigrant family. My father immigrated here in the 50s, served in Vietnam as a Marine. So it was a very survivor mentality. You gotta be tough to survive, okay? And I'm the smallest of 5 kids, okay? My sister had 5 sacks her first season playing football as a nose tackle for our high school. Okay, so I'm the runt of the litter. So they had to make me a little extra tough. I got messed with just a little bit more. But when it comes to your family, your wife, I've found just in my experiences, and I'm going through a divorce, okay? But at a point, a man can get wrapped up in his identity that he is his marriage. The failures in the marriage are his not, right? So if your wife's coming at you because you're lacking here, you're lacking there, it's not only really an attack on you, it's an attack on your marriage, it's an attack on your identity. And that's a slippery slope to go down, okay? Then, you know, in being a man, we're told you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough. I have sons, so I have to teach them how to be men and how to be survivors. But Sean touched on it. The old way is not necessarily the way, right? Because you look at what you've gone through. My father was very heavy-handed. very disciplinarian, and it was the way he was raised, and his experiences in Vietnam that made him that way. I tell you what, if you left a soda can on his coffee table, that was an ass whooping you rode for 2 hours.
Oh, of course.
Okay? So with me, I don't raise a finger to my kids. I take some toys away, I take an Xbox away. I take your privileges away. I hit you where it really hurts. You're not gonna talk to your little friend across the street for the day. Right? Because the physical discipline, it inflicts trauma. It inflicts fear. And all it did was make me clever. All it did was make me figure out how to get around an ass whooping. Then you become a father, right? Sometimes things don't go the way you want in marriage. And I'll tell you, the hardest thing a man will deal with is being that living situation change, going from having your kids every single day to being a phone call at night every other weekend, Dad. And we battle these things. And I know it's not easy, and forgive me, I'm getting a little emotional.
That's what we're here for, bro. So keep going.
But these are things that'll drag you through it. But you have to encourage yourself. You have to remind yourself why you're here, who you're really serving. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your mental health. But if you don't have a why, you don't have a fire, you're gonna fall into depression. You got to have the mental discipline and fortitude to make yourself strong for those that are around you. I live for my daughter's smile. I live to listen to her play clarinet. You guys know my son. He comes everywhere. I live for that little boy to just have a great time in his life. Okay? And you got to be able to reach out and talk to your brothers. You got to know there's people here for you. Right? If you feel like your friends or your family aren't really going to understand, please go seek help. Go seek a therapist, someone that can sit down with you, that has the tools to give you to deal with what you're dealing with. That way, you can understand you're not a burden, you're not a failure. This is life. This is what it will do to you. And together, with help, you can be stronger. You can become an example. You can become that success story you're looking for. It's a one day at a time process. And just know, no matter what, people love you. And people want to help you. And everybody that you think is there for you is there for you. All you have to do is reach out, or if they see it, they're going to call it out. Because you know when someone's having a bad day. You can see, even if they're a perfect stranger, you throw that smile at them, hey, how you doing? And that's enough to change someone's day. So if someone reaches out to you and asks you if you're okay, be honest. Don't try to hide it. Don't wear the mask. Because let me tell you, I'm a guy who wears a mask every single day. I wear my smile, and it's like I'm the Joker, right? Because it's really painted on. The funniest people, the people that look like they're having the best time, let me tell you, they're probably the people dealing with the most. And they don't want to be a burden to others, so they make it a pleasant experience. They try to make everybody happy, because at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for.
Yes, sir.
Well, I relate to that because I use jokes and I use my comedic nature to deflect a lot, and it helps, because I go through, I wouldn't say like mental struggles, but mental health, it is important, and I think the times we live in, it's more prevalent because there's just a lot more going on than it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and family isn't family like it was. You had family in the 50s and 60s. In the 70s, somewhere around the 90s, family started disappearing, and now it's almost non-existent. Real family, and what it means, that family nature, that family culture, it's just not there. Me personally, I tried to commit suicide just as of September. So, and Sean didn't know that. Nobody knew. I put it on Facebook and I said I'm checking out, and I had the knife and I had it to my wrist, and I was cutting, but because I knew how to cut with the vein and not going against it, it was just enough to bleed, but it wasn't enough to take me out. I just flirted with it, and out of everything, I had 100 people inbox me on Facebook and Messenger and they said all kind of things, including, oh, you're not really gonna do it, you're just looking for attention. And I'm just like, that was enough to more push me. And the girl I was dating was like, yo, if you're really gonna be disrespectful and do that in my house, then go ahead and do it. And I'm just looking at her like, that's all I fucking needed to hear. Like, thank you. This is someone I dated. And just a random person was like, what about your son? Like, how selfish is that your son is gonna ask the question to his mom one day, what happened to dad? She has to carry the burden of, well, this is what really happened to your dad. That was enough for me to kind of like stop. And does the struggle stop and put me in that situation? No, I'm still dealing with it. I've been homeless since September, and people don't know. I don't have a car, but I have 3 jobs, and I'm homeless. And I deal with mental stuff every day, because as a man, I'm seeing people, and I have friends that tell me, James, you shouldn't be in this situation because you're a man. A man should be able to be the provider of himself and different things like that. And these are friends. These are family members. That's why I said we don't have family like that anymore. So every day I have someone who tells me, oh yeah, you should be a man, tough it out. Oh, you're homeless, tough it out. It'll work out. And it's like, I have people tell me that because they've never been in that situation. They've never known what it's like to not know where you're gonna lay your head at night, or to sleep at Denny's 5 or 6 hours, and so that they don't kick you out, you have to order off the 2468 menu every couple of hours so they don't call the police. Those are the mental things that a lot of people outside of me deal with. It's easy to be like, hey, well, I'm homeless, I'm gonna go sleep in my car, because I've done that too. Now I don't got no car. To be at people's mercy in their home, and they say, well, pay me or get out, clean or get out. Go pick up my kids or get out. Wash those dishes. Oh, you don't want to wash the dishes? I didn't put no dishes in there. Oh, well, I know you didn't, but you're here. Wash them or get out. I've been through that since September, so the mental fatigue is real. And I really honestly believe for people like Twitch, even though you can have a show that people dream that they could have, or just be an opportunity, or even for me, greater, the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank, that one hit me pretty hard because I saw his tattoo that said Jesus never tapped. So for a person that has a tattoo that says Jesus never tapped, but then you turn around and that tattoo was inspirational to people. There's someone that looked at his tattoo and said, because you got that tattoo, I won't tap. But for him to tap out, even with the tattoo, that hit me more than the Twitch thing. And I know that Twitch is a great supporter of the crunk community.
Yeah.
Great, and I crunk dance, and I do all kind of other dances, but I mean, again, just to see these men who have this prowess that is above average and still go through this stuff, it's like me. I work at Red Lobster, I work for the City of Parks and Recs with kids, I'm a PE teacher. No one knows at any job what I go through. They probably will now, but they don't know, because it don't show. But then when I'm left to myself, my own ruins, I'm a Twitch.
Right.
I'm a Robin Williams. Right. I'm a Jason David Frank. I'm a Jonathan Brandis, if y'all know who that actor is. I'm the guy from the black African American guy that killed himself. He was on the show, the guy with the green eyes. He was on the Nickelodeon show.
Jed Jackson.
Yeah. Jed Jackson.
Yeah.
So I'm
that's not his name, but
Lord forgive me, I don't know.
I forgot.
But I'm that guy. I'm the guy that has to put on not just a mask, but I have to put on a show for kids because they don't care. And your job almost is like, well, if you're going through that, it's not safe for you
for
to
the
get
kids. Right.
So now I have to put on this facade every day. 3 different jobs. I have a son who he's 4. He doesn't know anything about this. I have to be happy-go-lucky around him so that his mother doesn't keep me away from him because I'm struggling. I have to put on a facade for her. Right. So people allow me to be in their home. I have to put in a facade for them. Hey, I'm okay. I'm fine.
You gotta be a chameleon.
You learn to be a chameleon, and that's not a part of the human nature to disguise yourself. So now you're moving out of the nature that God created you to be. And that leads to more mental fatigue because now you're practicing every day to become something you was never created to be.
My grandfather was a preacher, right? One of my grandfathers was a preacher, and he would call that incognito. I remember he was giving a sermon one day, right, about exactly what you just said. about how people disguise and mask themselves every day. And that's the first day that I even knew the word incognito. And I recognized that word because it's like you said, that's, as a man, you kind of have to be, you know? But Aiken did, he was like, for anybody who doesn't know what that word means, he was like, imagine if a peach tree was trying to disguise itself and tell everybody it was an apple tree. And that's what it's like.
Well, as for me, wow, he spoke on what kind of possibly is me. And I'm willing to talk, somewhat touch on this show, even though this is my show. Like I said, I tell people all the time, I'm not perfect. I go through battles and things like that. I suffer from, no, I'm no longer, because I'm not going to say it, I'm going to continue to suffer from depression. There were certain issues from my childhood that I buried. The problem is they resurfaced in my last relationship, and I made a lot of the same. Like I said, I had a fiance, and I apologized to her. Now I'm not going, even though she threw me under a bus, I'm not going to put all our personal stuff out there. But I will speak on my behalf and where I messed up at, and sometimes when you feel like you get trapped in a corner. And you feel like you're losing yourself. I think we all know. Like I said, for you, I've never been the type to quit on a relationship when times get tough. I have my grandfather's trait. However, fellas and all you guys, if you're unhappy, really be vocal about being unhappy. If somebody loves you, they shouldn't put hands on you, they shouldn't threaten you, they shouldn't back into the corner, like, why are you not happy, X, Y, Z. Really break it down because I was in a position to where I was losing me and she's a good woman, I'm sorry, but, I was losing me to make my significant other happy, continuously. So I made a lot of bad decisions on my end, and from there, when you put on incognito, those fronts, because I was fronting, it eats you up too. You can only hide a lot of that stuff for so long. And like I said, I caused a lot of collateral damage based on certain decisions that I could have, even with, my parents always encouraged therapy. Thank God I went to psychiatry, this and that. But, I never was like strict on, don't do therapy, this, that, and the other. I'm blessed to be from a family that chose. But sometimes, like I said, you can't just go through a run of therapy and just say, oh, I'm done. You got to continue with it. Shout out to AA, people, the Alcoholics Anonymous, Carlos, and places like that, because there's people that go for life. Because they know their vices and things like that. And, I wish I would have stayed up on mine and things like that, but, I'm a believer, God, the situations, things happen for a reason. And like I said, I'm here speaking to you guys about it now, and I'm here with this group of good guys. And we're going to continue these conversations because, like I said, no matter how much you lift weights, how much with your fly ride, the women, the mansions, the pool parties, your favorite celebrity has to go somewhere to cry. And, I really, I'm a Kanye fan to death. Like, he's one of my, like I said, I used to hate on him because I want to be like him, And people have a lot of opinions about what's going on and this and that, but there was he, during all these, these things, he went to eat at a local soul food restaurant. He put him on the east side. I don't know. You heard about that? He just randomly pulled up on a soul food restaurant, Granny's Kitchen. Shout out to Granny's Kitchen. They're pretty good too. Didn't announce himself. He just pulled up. And he ordered food, and they filmed him eating. And when he was eating, the older you get, you can see into people's body language and soul.
Yeah.
He was eating the food, he looked at peace. Now, I don't know Kanye personally, of course, but right off the bat, people that, TMZ got thousands of comments, but right off the bat, the way he was eating, how quiet and how peaceful he looked, I can tell that man misses his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
I definitely know what that's like, man.
So, like I said, this is all, because like I said, we get a little emotional, but black men, these are talks, black men, Latino men, any man, like I said, we open, these are the talks that we need to have because we need to be here. My man got kids, you have a kid, you got kids, I don't, like, you can really feel, like somebody tells you, like, you just kill yourself, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be alright.
Who cares if that?
Yeah. And then I literally was like, this, like I said, you kind of believe me, like, nah. So I was blessed to, the 2 times of my most serious bouts of depression, to ride it out. So, and just like, don't lose it, and so I'm still here today. So what were the ways that, when I go down the list, what were the ways that you coped your way out of your darkest place?
It's dope that you said that you can hear it, because that's something that I battle with every day. I can hear it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Being a vet, being raised by vets, you know what I mean? Having a PTSD rating, I have to have treatment until I don't exist anymore. So, but for me, and I'm trying to work on this, because I try to pour a lot into my kids. I try to pour a lot into my relationship through, trying to be the best father that I can, being the best provider. And sometimes that might cause me to lack in my relationship, with my wife. But like I try to, as much as possible, try to keep everything together. And then in my spare time, I'm not gonna lie, I smoke a lot. And, I might watch some anime, play the game on my phone, something like that. Every once in a while, I might talk to, somebody. But honestly, I think I could use more of this. You dig? Because, like you said, I hear it. And like you said, it's just random things you might hear. Why don't you just drive the car off the bridge today? You know what I mean? Won't nobody care? You know what I mean? Why don't you just do, X, Y, Z? They don't care, such and such. Then look how they treat you in the house, So, I definitely try to make sure, like you say, I try to put it on for my kids, man, because I'm even to the point now asking them if I'm being too hard on them throughout the day. Because like you said, the appearance of trying to hold it all together. I'm putting on this show, so it's got to be a big production. So it's not really what you see; it's the production. The lights is flashing, it's cameras. The set look all pretty. But, when you take it all the way, it's just an empty stage, empty stage on 66 and West or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like I said, I try to pour it into my kids. And like I say, lately, because you see me with my son, anybody that ever seen me with my son, that's,
Sorry. That's your little man.
come here.
You gotta take inventory of your thoughts. 'Cause, and I'm just gonna attack on you. You hear it. For me, I wouldn't say I flirted with the idea of suicide as much as non-reaction. If I happen to cross the street at the wrong time, I happen to cross the street at the wrong time, right? But I think, and it's gonna sound so odd, one of the things that keeps me going is my pride. My pride in the fact that I will not fail my kids. I will not allow them to deal with that shame that my father quit on us. Because, good, bad, or indifferent, my dad grew up in a different time. He went through a war. He dealt with shit I could never understand. And one thing that helps me is I look at what I went through and I don't feel sorry about it. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it hurts, but you learn from it. So this is what I don't do with my kids. This is how I don't treat my spouse. And I gotta be honest, my marriage was a reflection of my parents' marriage. 13 years to the day. But now that her and I have separated, we're both doing better, you know, mentally and otherwise. And we don't interfere in each other's world. We don't mess with each other. She don't mess with me, I don't mess with her. I'm in a new relationship, which is very good. One of the things that kind of helps me stay sane and stay happy is wrestling.
Oh man.
Is wrestling.
Oh.
When I was young, wrestling saved my life from making stupid decisions and running around with the wrong people, right? Now wrestling has saved my life again because it's given me somewhere I can truly act out who I am, right? The Triple M character very much is who Mike is, just fucking cranked all the way up. And I get to spend time with extraordinary gentlemen like you who have courage to bare their souls and to show others, hey, we bear this burden as men, but we can bear it with honor and dignity and come out okay. As long as we support each other. And I really feel you, bro, because honestly, we're on the same boat. I've been homeless, you know, since October with my girl and kid, and the struggle is real. And the road is hard. Yes, it is. But like I said, by getting the support from mental health professionals, your friends and family around you, you know, if you go to church or whatever faith you follow, you get support there. Get it, because it takes an army to fight a battle, not one warrior.
That's right.
The way I cope with it is I work. I just went and got another job. So I'm working around the clock, and that kind of keeps my mind focused and, you know, helps with the stability. And then seeing my son helps because he was diagnosed with a speech impediment and all this other stuff. And, you know, now he's like, he asked me the other day something that I don't think anybody in our generation ever asked. He said, Daddy, is Chuck E. Cheese a rat or is it a mouse?
He's on to him, bro.
I just looked at him and I said, son, I said, not my generation nor the generation before me can answer that question. That's a question for your generation because, hell, we just don't know.